Hey, this is Debbie Combs. Give me back my pro wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And I am here, as always, with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, Sheik? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, you know how it is, brother. Just, got a lot of stuff going on in our lives at this moment. And this is an awesome episode, Sheik. And I don't know if you're going to go get tacos or what. But, we've got an episode today with Debbie Combs, the legendary lady superstar, daughter of Cora Combs. And, she's had a great history. I mean, she wrestled for all the companies that you could wrestle for. The PAFOs and WWF, WCW, NWA. She's a former NWA women's champion. She wrestled for Leia Maivia out in Hawaii. I mean, there's so many cool things that she can talk about. And we're excited to have her on, and we'll have fun with it for sure, So,
yeah, man. So I've got a work commitment that's not going to allow me to for the interview, but it is what it is. Even when you're work for yourself, you sometimes have to be there when you don't want to be. So
right, that's probably, you work harder probably when it's for yourself, I would assume. So it's like, I hate my boss. Oh wait, no, I don't.
Sometimes he's a jerk. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but Debbie's awesome, and I can't wait to get her on. And thanks to Shane Morton for hooking this up. But mostly, this is actually this is dropping the May the 9th, right? And that is, our normal Thursday. But 2 days later, we're going to actually be hanging out with a lot of our former guests. So we are going to be spending the day in Columbia, Tennessee. What better place to be when you're a wrestling podcast in Columbia? There's no better wrestling town on the map, in my opinion, than Columbia, Tennessee. They love it and they care about it, and they still believe, and that's what matters. So we're going to be there. It's the Muletown Mania Fan Fest, and so basically the day is going to be a long day for us. At 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there's the Right Way reunion, which includes all the wrestlers from near and far from that area, and this is something that Shane's been putting on for the past 6 years or whatever. And this one will be a blast. And this was the first one I've been able to come to. And also with us is going to be you, of course, the Sheik. We're going to have our little brother Mason with us, and we're going to have my son Cash with us. So it's going to be a day of it. Now, Cash and Mason are going to have to help us with the podcast, which is one of the main reasons is, of course, there's the reunion, and then starts the Fan Fest after that. And at 2:30, it opens up. People can come in, get autographs, shake hands, take pictures with I think it's like more than 50 wrestling legends from that area, and new wrestlers, old wrestlers, young wrestlers, wrestlers you don't like, wrestlers you love. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then at 4:30 on May the 11th, that's Saturday, May the 11th, we're going to do a live podcast Q&A with the Devil's Disciples, Dante, Mephisto, and Damien Forsaken, whatever, Rick Reynolds, whatever you want to call it. The Wild Boys, Ben Jordan and Steve Neely, and the Mortons, Shane and Steve Morton. So the tie-in for most of you all, if you don't know out there, is that these teams were in a decades-long blood feud with one another. And the word blood does not, let me just say that, this is a real blood feud. And these guys fought each other tooth and nail I mean, literally beat on each other for decades. So anyway, we're going to focus on that. And then later that night, I know you've heard us talk about it, but it's TriStar Wrestling, and that's our buddy Jablonski, and he's going to have the 14-person tag match with, I mean, Jared, there's so many of our former guests. Dante and Mephisto in it. It's going to be Steve Neely, Ben Jordan is in it. I mean, Scott Spade's in it. Rick Reynolds is in it. I mean, Shane, Steve, so many people. So anyway, it's going to be a big day.
Good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all should definitely come on out. You know, I know it's 2 days ahead of time, but if you haven't heard it on here already, then you don't have any excuse. So anyway, long story short, Muletown Mania Fan Fest. If you want to meet any of the wrestlers that you've heard on this podcast, or if you just want to come by and for some reason want to meet us, we'll be there, and you should too. So come on out and see us. And I say, let's shut up and I'll come back with Debbie Combs. How's that sound?
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Well, you come back at the very end. All right. We'll figure that out.
Can I get the hot tag at the end? And
yeah, you'll get the hot tag at the end.
The Robert Gibson tag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back after these messages with Debbie Combs.
Did my card go through?
Oh, no.
Your small business depends on its internet. So switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second, unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
The all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade Hybrid doesn't just turn heads. It commands respect. With its stunning exterior, luxurious interior with available captain seats, and spacious third-row seating and equipped with advanced technology, you and the family are making a statement before you even step out. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more and experience the all-new 2026 Palisade Hybrid today.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks? When that social post sends engagement through the roof? When your outside-of-the-box campaign hits ROI positive? When a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at Contentful.com.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
All right, we are back with Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and man, oh man, as always, we've got an awesome guest today. And I tell you, when I look into stuff and I start doing my research, that's really when you can tell the level of guest that you're going to get. And I just couldn't stop finding stuff about this guest today. So I'm going to shut up now and bring her on. The absolute very special guest, Debbie Combs. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Now, did I take you away from any of your bounty hunting duties? That's awesome.
No, not today.
Okay.
Not today. My partner's busy today, so we're not allowed to go out without, you have to have two people. So my partner's kind of busy today.
Okay. Well, when did you start doing that?
About 7 years ago. I retired from the Davidson County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
And then I had to do something that was just as interesting as wrestling. So bounty hunting is as close as wrestling as you can get.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So it was basically a pretty easy swap from careers in wrestling to bounty hunting, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
That's wild. Well, I know we've had guests on that could have been bounty hunters and should have been bounty hunters, but I think you're technically our first official bounty hunter. So that's very cool. I mean, so you got to give you credit for that.
It's fun. It's fun. I've been shot at. It's interesting. I've been knocked out.
Wow.
It's been fun.
I love that you say that and then you add fun to the end of it. That's awesome. That's great.
It's as closest to professional wrestling as you can get. So,
yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. So,
right.
So we always start off every show with this question, and this one is going to be a little different than the normal one. To kind of give an idea to the listeners and give us an idea of how, the choices you make on this question, kind of lets the listener know a little more about you. And we always started off with, mostly men, unfortunately. We've had one other woman on this show, and it's a shame. We need to have more. But when it comes down to it, your Mount Rushmore of ladies wrestlers, who would you put on that Mount Rushmore?
My mother, Cora Combs.
Okay. I love it. Who else would you put?
Penny Banner.
Penny Banner. Okay.
Mildred Burke.
Mildred Burke. Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many. Back in Billy Wolf days, all the true legends come out of Billy Wolf's camp out of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And that's, I wouldn't put Moolah on there because I don't know. She started out as a slave girl and, up for the old Vince McMahon. And I wasn't one of her girls. So,
Yeah, no, and I've heard crazy stuff. I mean, I know there was a dark side of the ring about Moolah, but that was some pretty crazy stuff. So did your mom guide you away from her perchance, or?
She never really guided me towards Moolah because probably the stories of Moolah is true. And I didn't have to go into that camp because, I wasn't going to give Moolah 75% of my pay.
Oh man. Yeah.
To work for her and live on her land because she took most of them girls as money.
Right.
And I didn't have to do that. I got myself booked and them girls could have done the same thing, but she had them brainwashed. So,
Gotcha.
I just didn't have that.
Yeah. No, and that's actually very good that you didn't go down that path. You had a stellar career. So let me start at the very beginning. Now, obviously, you are a second generation superstar. Your mom, Cora Combs, is one of the absolute pioneers of the business as far as women's wrestling or wrestling goes. Talk about growing up. Your younger days, growing up with a mom who is the name that she was, the legend that she was. Talk about that.
Well. I mean, she was a legend, and I was a little girl. I was in the dressing room, and I would sell her pictures when at the matches when she was on the shows, and Ricky Morton and I would compete on selling pictures, and and I heard stories that when I was a little girl and the boys would watch me back in the dressing rooms while she was wrestling. So, there's Dick the Bruiser would watch me, and, there's all kinds of stories, and in wrestling, they taught Carney. And so we was on a trip going up to, like, Lexington, Kentucky, and they were talking Carney, and I was trying to nod my mother because I was real jealous. And she said, "What do you want?" And because they had been talking Carney.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, "You missed your exit way back there to Lexington." I was trying to tell her that y'all had missed your exit,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, "I don't know why y'all talking Carney because I can understand everything y'all are saying." Because I had been around them, all my life. I'd learned to talk Carney or understand it. So
sure.
It was just, I understood it. So, little things like that, just growing up around the business and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, I can imagine, like when a little kid, you're wanting to protect him and stuff, and you start to let's go, do not talk about sex or spell out a curse word, but instead you're actually learning how to speak Carney at the same time as they're trying to hide what they're saying from you. That's awesome.
Right.
Now, where were you born?
I was born at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. My dad was in the military. He retired from the Army.
Okay.
And I had one brother, and my dad got stationed over in Germany in World War II. So my brother was born in Augsburg, Germany, and then they got transferred back over, and Dad was stationed at Fort Campbell. So I was born at Fort Campbell.
Gotcha. Okay. And now, did he have anything to do with wrestling, or was it solely your mom?
No, he never traveled with my mother and never had much to do with wrestling with my mother. But when I started wrestling, and he would travel with me.
Oh, okay.
When I had road trips around here, he would travel with me.
Okay. Kind of like a little bit of protector, maybe, like keep an eye on you, make sure you're okay. Is that kind of the deal?
No, not really. He just loved traveling with me and being me.
Yeah.
Because he knew I could protect myself, but he was just for support.
Yeah. Now, would you say you were a daddy's girl?
Yeah. Later on in years, I was my daddy's girl. He was closer to my brother when I was younger. But then later on, in later years, I was a daddy's girl.
Well, where did you go to high school at?
I went to high school here in Nashville at Stratford High School.
Stratford High. Okay, very cool. Yeah. Did you play any sports while you were in high school?
No, I started wrestling when I was 15 years old.
Yeah, so that kind of cut all. Well, so that is a sport. So technically you did. It just wasn't through the high school.
Right. So I started wrestling. My first match was in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes.
At Louisville Gardens. And one of the girls, it was the 7-girl battle royal, and one of the girls didn't show up. So they threw my ass in there, and I was scared to death. I was just petrified. But they threw me in there, and there I was, and then it hit, and it was in my blood, and that's the start of my career in wrestling.
Then it's over with, right? Once you get it in your blood.
Yes, it is over.
Yeah, it's over.
They literally had to push me out of the dressing room, though, in Louisville.
Really?
Yeah, because I was scared to death. I was real shy. And, I was really shy. So they ended up pushing me out of the dressing room, and all the girls got behind me and pushed me to the ring.
Oh, that's so. Did your mom train you to get it to work, or did she?
I was really around it all my life, and I would get in the ring, and when they would get in the ring and practice and train and all that. So I just kind of like learned it along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So I learned it by getting in the ring with them. And so I just picked it up all my life. You would get in there and play around with them.
Yeah. Okay. So it was almost like you just knew it from the womb almost. It was like you were just born into it. That makes sense. And so that first promotion, if I'm not mistaken, for your first match is one of my favorite topics. We recently had George Weingroff on the show, and I could talk ICW all day long. I guess before we get into the question I'm going to ask you about here in just a second when it comes to ICW, talk about getting into ICW, the POFOs, that kind of thing. And then we'll approach that subject that I'm definitely going to ask you about.
Right. Well, why I was in ICW. I don't have to tell you why that was.
Okay, so that was yeah, got it. That makes sense. So when did that start? When did that romance start?
Well, Randy was down here for Nick Goulas, and then I think what happened was the Popos was wanting to know probably where they needed to move to get a promotion going.
Okay.
And they were all discussing where to go. And I said, well, how about Lexington?
Yeah.
And that's where they ended up moving to. because I think it was in transition of going from Goulas to Jarrett.
Yeah.
In that time zone.
Okay.
And I think that's where I know that's where they ended up moving. Well, Randy and I had started seeing each other right before they moved.
Okay.
And that's how it blossomed. And then, we started dating. And so we ended up going together in 5.5 years.
Yeah. So this is the $20 million question here. What is it like to date the Macho Man?
I mean, it was wonderful for me. I mean, he was just very jealous.
Oh.
He was very jealous. And that's the only thing that I can say bad about Randy. A lot of people can say a lot of bad things about Randy. Randy never, threatened to hit me. Randy never, he did have a temper, but he never had a temper with me.
Gotcha. Okay.
I never seen no anger towards me. I never, I don't have any bad things to say about Randy. He was a good partner. All but the jealousy,
Yeah. And that's something that stayed with him. It's well known he was very jealous of Liz. Also with that gorgeous George girl, he had some problems that he was very jealous of. And, maybe that was just a thing that he had. But do you have any idea maybe where that came from? Was it something to do with his family life maybe that turned him that way, or?
Why he was jealous?
Yeah.
I think probably just the insecurities.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense.
I think he was just insecure with himself, maybe. And I don't understand why why he was. But, there's several reasons why people are insecure with themselves.
Of course.
I don't know why he would be.
Yeah.
But I never gave him a reason to be insecure. But, sometimes you are,
Yeah.
But,
he'd lost his dream, with baseball.
I'm going to tell you one reason, though. I was a jealous person, too, when I started dating Randy.
Okay.
But I guarantee you that that sure corrected me from being a jealous person after that.
It taught you're like, this is not a good look. I don't want to be like this. Yeah.
And I tell you one thing that could have made him insecure, the pro football. I mean, the pro baseball.
Yeah.
Because, his grandfather, about burning down the clubhouse,
Right. Yeah, it's an amazing story just talking about his baseball time. Randy's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I'm sure that's a common thing with most everyone you've probably talked to about this. He was such a legendary figure in the business, but when it comes down to it, he was a real man, and he did have those insecurities. And it's sad to say because you think of him as the Macho Man. I mean, he's that kind of guy, and kind of crazy. But the baseball, it's a crazy story, and I know a little bit of it where he basically blew out his shoulder. It was a righty, and then he taught himself to throw lefty and kept himself in the game, and that's just crazy. I mean, I look like a sissy throwing with my left hand. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
Well, he loved baseball. He did. He loved baseball, and that was his dream.
Yeah.
But, Randy succeeded at anything that he did, but then he got into the wrestling, and that was his dream,
That was his dream.
Randy didn't, he didn't talk like that at home. He didn't live that life at home.
Right.
Everybody wants to think that he did, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Randy was a normal person.
Right.
Everybody, they might think that he did, and the girls might say that he did, but he did not do that with me.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Finished training for the day? Time to fight post-workout fatigue with Core Power Protein Shakes. They're packed with 26 grams of high-quality protein to build muscle and electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to help your body replenish, rebuild, and repair post-workout so you can power on to the next one. Champion your recovery with Core Power. Visit corepower.com to learn more.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
And this is a personal question, so please, you don't have to answer this, but what do you think led to the breakup?
Me?
Yeah, with him. Yeah.
Oh, well, I told Randy to never, ever bring a girl to a show that all the other boys would see.
Okay, right.
And basically, they had a show in Cape Girardeau. The next night, we were in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
At the Gardens, and it was him and his dad, Angelo, and she was the ticket seller in Cape Girardeau.
Okay.
Now, she was a big, heavy-set girl, and I understood that she was the ticket seller, but I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, right.
And they all 3 of them walked into the St. Louis, and when they did, I said, I am finished.
Yeah.
And I told him right there in front of everybody, we are finished.
Yeah.
And he blew his top right, and that's the only time that he really got upset with me.
Okay.
And I said, I'm finished with you. I'm over. It's over. And so he got upset. I was upset. And King Kong, Brody.
Oh, yeah.
Get your shit and come into my dressing room. And I went into his dressing room, and, of course, Randy wasn't going to interfere with it.
Right.
So I was in that dressing room, and so that was it.
That's it. Okay. Well, I mean, sound like he had his chance to not do something stupid, and unfortunately he messed that up. But yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Randy was my true love.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Maybe the one that got away.
We were soulmates.
Okay.
His mother always told me that.
Yeah.
But we were soulmates, and it's not like I didn't have another chance with Randy.
Okay.
After him and Liz divorced, we were at a bar here in Nashville, and we were all, me and my mother, we were at the bar, and I told Mother, I said, and we were all drinking together, Randy and all of us, and I said, come on, we're leaving. And so we left, and all of a sudden there was a car flying up behind us, and I pulled over. I said, who in the hell is this following us? And it was Randy.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled over, and I said, what are you doing? You following me home? And he said, no, I'm trying to get back to the Red Roof Inn. I said, which one? And he said, at Rivergate. And I said, well, you're going the wrong way. And I said, I'll lead you back to the interstate, and then I'll get off, and you need to go straight. And
okay.
So I did. I got him back. But he was letting me know where he was staying.
Sure, right. If you want to drop by.
Yeah, right. So, but I just went back home.
Yeah.
That was my mistake.
Well, and so you regretted that, essentially.
I did.
Yeah. Well, did you get along with the Lanny as well?
Oh, I talked to Lanny up until his death.
Yeah, it was such a sad time when he passed away, because he'd kind of helped cement the legacy of Randy back with the WWE, and then he loses his life. It was sad, very tragic. When anybody passes, it's tragic. But I heard that George has told stories several times to me about how Lanny really was kind of under their thumb. Do you see that too?
Under WWF?
No, under his dad and Randy's thumb in a way, especially in ICW. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He idolized Randy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, so when was that? What year was that you had your first match with ICW?
Lord have mercy. I don't even have any idea.
Would it be like 75 or 76, something like that, maybe? Or
no, because I started wrestling in 75.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, I just know that there's a bit of a time between that and 86 when you make it up to the WWF. I guess talk a little bit about that middle time between the ICW and WWF.
Like when I started in WWF?
Yeah.
Well, Moolah called and wanted me to get into WWF.
Okay.
And she wanted me to go up there and work with her.
Okay.
And that was a mistake on her part. she made a mistake there, because when I went up there, I told Vince and all of them about the way she was treating her girls.
Yeah.
The way that she was not giving them the money and all of that. So that broke that all wide open.
Wow. So okay.
I'm the one who did that. And so the girls started getting their own checks and all that. But then when I got up there, I did the circuit with Moolah first.
Yeah.
And then I started working some of the other girls and stuff. So, it was nice and stuff. And, I ended up running into Randy too with Elizabeth up there. And, and there was one day in Columbus, Ohio that, Randy had said, can I talk to you for a minute? And I said, yeah. And I was back up against the concrete wall. I remember it. And he said, you're making my life a Peyton place. And I just looked at him in his eye, and he hit the wall. And I just scooted down up underneath his arm, and I just walked away.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why he was saying that, because, I stayed away from him.
Sure, yeah.
But that's the only time that he ever really said anything to me about being up there in WWF.
Okay.
But he still had feelings. You could tell that he had feelings.
Right.
And, even though that he was with Elizabeth.
Right.
But as far as working in WWF, I loved it. I loved working with the girls. I had a good run up there, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They wanted to drop the belt on me with Moolah, and Moolah told me that I better not take that belt and run, because Madison Square Garden, and I was a nervous wreck in Madison Square Garden. I mean, I was a basket case.
Tell me about that.
Oh God, I was like throwing up, 'cause that's the biggest, arena, that you could work.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah. That's the place.
My mother always told me, you always respect the older women, the pioneers, the older women.
Right.
And, even though she was Moolah and I really did not respect her, my mother always told me, you respect the older women or older girls in the business.
Right.
So, so they had come in the dressing room. They told us what we needed to do and all that. So, and then when they walked out, Pat Patterson, when he walked out, Moolah looked at me and she said, you better not do it. So, I mean, here's the booker and here's her, do not take that belt and run. So
yeah.
I just didn't.
Yeah. You were up there during the time of that Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. Was there ever any talk about, hey, Debbie Combs, let's bring you on the show? Did they ever maybe talk about, because I know Wendy was focused on, and then I know there was some things about Wendy winning the title and then Moolah taking it off of her, like the original Montreal screw job. But did they ever talk to you about anything like that, endorsements or action figures or anything like that?
No. I mean, if they did talk about it, I was never in on that talk. I know I was supposed to be on WrestleMania 10.
Okay.
And Medusa refused to wrestle me.
Really? Well, I want to get to that because I know you all actually worked together before that. But so I guess let's pause that for just a second. I want to get into Sherri Martel, though, because you worked with her when you were up there, correct?
I worked with Sherri up there and different. Sherri Martel was the last match that I had before I retired.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Sherri to me is one of the greats, man. I mean, she's one of the greatest managers. I think she's highly underrated when it comes to manager talk. And, she turned her career around. Did you by chance see that Dark Side of the Ring about her?
No, I did not get to see it.
Well, when you can, it's on YouTube. You can watch it on there. I highly recommend it. It's heartbreaking because there's a moment where she has a baby and she basically chooses to go on the road because I guess she knew her future had to be where it had to be. And that just brings up such a crazy thought in my mind. When I saw that, I was like, golly, these ladies gave up so much to entertain us. Not, and some women, and please don't take this the wrong way, but some women do not feel complete without a child, right? So I know that has to be something that is heavy on the women that are performing at that time. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I've never been married and never had no children. So, but Sherri did have a relationship with her son.
Right. And she would bring him on the road and stuff. But I guess, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she would. But that just shows you how much she knew she had to do the wrestling, and had to, and that was her calling. And, it's almost like when you're talking to a minister or something and they're like, I got the calling to go into preaching and stuff. It's like she had the calling. She knew what she had to do. And that it was heartbreaking in one sense. But then again, she did build a relationship with him. So, I think that it kind of ended on a positive note. But it just opened my eyes to some of the things that, let's just say the normal people in the world that didn't get in the wrestling business could do. And it wasn't necessarily an option for a lot of the women, it was.
Well, I just think that when it gets into your blood that, you have that in your blood and you just don't want to give it up. Sherri tried to get out of it several times and it just didn't work for her.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of wrestling. I mean, it was really hard for me in 2000. I mean, it's not easy to walk away from wrestling.
Right. Right.
It's not an easy choice to do. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy feat by no means.
Right. You get withdrawals and everything. And I did a little bit, and I'm not claiming any kind of actually anything close to you or many of our guests. I did a small time in the Nashville wrestling scene working for Tony Falk and TJ Weatherby and Burt Prentice. And I was a manager, local heel manager there. And, it got into my blood even at that small level. You know what I mean? And I'm forever addicted to it now because not only as a mark, as a fan growing up, I actually got that injection of the crowd and the whole thing. And so it's like, I do understand. I think that's part of the reason I continue with these podcasts now is because it gives me the opportunity to learn from those that came before me. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah. So if someone were to ask you a simple question of like, hey, Debbie, describe Sherri to me in like 10 words or so, what would you say if you could describe Sherri? What would it be?
A wonderful person, a fantastic worker, great personality, fun to be around.
Yeah.
She was such a joy, and would bring a smile on anybody's face. I remember one time we was out at the Cauliflower Alley Club, and we were in, it was in Studio City when we was out in California. And she said, "Come on, Debbie, we're gonna go down to Hollywood." And so we got dressed. Sherri was crazy as hell.
Yeah.
And a partier. She partied.
Yeah.
And we went down. We went into this bar. I don't know what the hell she got my ass into. And she always just laughed at everything. We walked into this place, and I'm telling you, in one room they were doing all kinds of drugs. This next room they were. And we just kept on walking, and she just laughing and grinning. You could just see her face right now.
Yeah,
and we just partied, and just got drunk. And man, I remember the ride home over them hills back to Studio City at the Hotel Sportsman's Lodge. It was just funny as hell. They were doing all kinds of stuff in that damn club. It was great. Well, she can introduce you to everything.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy, you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller. And so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them. So how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you, guys. Be blessed.
So you end up becoming NWA Women's Champion in a battle royal in Honolulu, and then something happens, and then you actually win it again in Kansas City, but it was like you didn't actually lose it. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, there was some controversy. I won it in the battle royal in Honolulu under Maya Mavea.
Okay, Leah Maivia.
Yeah, and then I don't know. Evidently, they didn't really recognize her as an NWA promoter, and then Harley Race was promoting Kansas City, so he said, "Well, we'll have a match, and we'll, and he was an NWA promoter, and so they had a match there, and they did the match there."
That's cool. Now, how does that feel? I mean, how did that feel at the time, being the NWA Women's Champion? I mean, that means a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It meant a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about Harley Race. I would love to hear something about how you working with Harley.
Oh, Harley. I mean, I loved Harley. I mean, he was a wholesome guy. I mean, a family man. I mean, he was one of the best champions the NWA could, he was a great worker. I mean, very few wrestlers could go an hour. But Harley Race was one of them. I mean, you could grab a hoe and sell it forever.
Yeah.
And that's one person that me and Sherri Martel in Toronto, Canada, we had went an hour. Because the flight was delayed in Toronto, so we ended up having to go an hour. Very few workers can do that, but Harley Race was a tremendous person, husband, father,
champion.
He was the best NWA champion that they had.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's who I think of when you put that 10 pounds of gold in front of my eyes. I think of Harley. That's who.
Right. He was just a perfect, individual, I believe.
Yeah. Well, so you end up going up to Minnesota with Vern in AWA, and then you meet up again with Sherri, and then is this when you kind of start tagging with Medusa at that time in AWA? Yeah. Talk about your going up to AWA.
I mean, I didn't travel up to AWA a lot, but when I did, I usually wrestled with Sherri or Candy, and then I tagged with Medusa up there some. But that just lasted a little while. But I would wrestle with Sherri, and then I would wrestle with Candy.
Okay.
Because Sherri was living down here at one point, and I've had a lot of good times with Sherri. Whenever I start thinking about Sherri, I remember we were in first class going to Minneapolis on Christmas, and drunker and shit we got there. I'm just thinking of her, and then she looking back in coach and saying, we get almonds instead of y'all getting peanuts, just crazy. Sherri's just crazy.
Yeah.
Medusa's, we tagged up there a lot more than I don't think I ever wrestled her in Minneapolis.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, of course, that does lead to WWF in 94, Medusa and Alundra. And then is that essentially when she declined to work with you?
Well, they booked us against each other, and we wrestled some.
Right.
And then they booked us for WrestleMania.
Okay.
And that's when she declined. It was booked. They advertised it. There was flyers. I was in the WrestleMania 10 booklet.
Yeah.
And then she come off and did not want to wrestle me in WrestleMania. I mean, and all the advertisement and everything, and they had to replace me with Lalani Kai.
Yeah. Yeah. Who I'm sure you're friends with, right? Lalani?
Oh yeah, I love Lalani.
Yeah.
And she didn't understand why neither. And I still to this day, I do not understand why she did that.
That's weird. That's so weird. Is there any chance that she might have thought you would have outshined her by chance? I mean, they were kind of putting it all on her, you know?
Well, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I never did get a reasoning.
That's a hell of a payday that she made you miss. That's unfortunate.
Right.
And have you guys seen each other since then? Have you been cordial, or is it cool, or?
Well, I've not been cordial with her.
I didn't expect you to be, but
no. I don't know if I've seen her since then.
Okay.
You know, and I don't know if I can be cordial with her.
Yeah, understand. And that makes sense. I mean, it's, you know, that's just a hell of a payday and an opportunity, especially. I mean, I can imagine she must have had some sort of stroke to be able to get that to happen, because if they've already advertised you and everything, I can't imagine them wanting, you know, to not have you on the show. But man.
Right. And she cannot deny it.
Right. No, it happened.
Yeah. No, and everybody knows it. Lalani knows it. Everybody knows it. So she can deny it.
Right. Did that put an awkward situation with you and Lalani? I'm sure you're cool about that.
No, no, it did not. You know, no. I love Lalani. You know, Patty is a wonderful. I can't blame Lalani.
Right, of course. So it brings you back home, and then you start up WPW, Women's Pro Wrestling. You've got ladies such as Candy Devine, Miss Jackie, Peggy Lee Leather, Velvet McIntyre, and so many more. What led you to start your own promotion?
Well, Edward Pastano wanted to start an all-girls promotion.
Okay.
And he was out of California, and so I did. And we started it, and we wanted to run military bases.
Yeah.
And we did run some of them, but, you know, he just didn't want to put enough money in it to really run it.
Right.
Like it had been ran.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I just saw the names and I was like, holy cow, this is the glow for girls who could really go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but honestly, to be able to, you know, to get a good promotion like, you know, going, you have to have like money like Glow does have.
Right, of course. Exactly. A big time money backer. Yeah.
Right. Like,
did they ever talk to you about going to Glow?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to go to Glow.
Right. Because it was not probably, I mean, your mom being Cora Combs and the ladies who paved the foundation, I never saw any of them at Glow, you know, so it was,
right.
Yeah, it was its own thing, I guess, right? It was more like a TV show more than anything, right? It wasn't.
Well, well, it was the girls out there wanting to, just a stepping stone to get into movies in Hollywood. It's just like up in, Vern, Gagne one time, he brought in, was it Daisy May? I can't remember. A little blonde with a little Daisy sports. He got her up there, and I had a hell of a match with her. I made her look like she knew everything. It was up in Minneapolis, and he said, "I'm going to book you with her out in L.A. Not L.A. Vegas, where they did ESPN taping."
Yeah,
and. So we went out there, and he's, you know, okay, we'll get out there and make her look good and all this shit. I was not going to get on ESPN and make this girl look like she knew what she was doing.
Right.
I got out there, and I pulled every hair extension out in her head, and I just tore her ass up. Well, she got out of professional wrestling.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, Vern said, "What the hell, Debbie?" I said, What, Vern? I can't help. But I was not going to get on ESPN and make myself look like a fool.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You had enough sense to know in that situation.
Exactly. Not gonna, it's not me. I've been in this business too long to put somebody like that over.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, and I've seen you wrestle all through your career growing up and stuff. And then I remember on Nitro in 1997, you actually worked Akira Hokuto. And I know that they were trying to make a women's division, but unfortunately it doesn't look like you stuck around long. What was the story with that?
I don't know. Eric, he didn't like the women.
Right.
He never was a big fan of the women.
You could tell. Yeah, you could tell. Yeah.
Yeah, he did not like the women's division, and I don't never think that he really wanted that. But I tell you, in that match, I had a broken ankle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a broken ankle in that match. And if anybody looked real close, you could tell that my ankle was wrapped up.
Okay.
Really, and I had like a brace really on that ankle.
Yeah, that's wow. What happened to cause that before you got there? Where'd you break your ankle?
Yeah, it was in another match, but I didn't want to cancel that show, so
right.
I went in and did it. Because the show must go on.
The show must go on. Exactly. I mean, Kerry Von Erich wrestled without a foot forever. You could do that, right? I mean, you can wrap your ankle and make it work, right? I don't blame you. Yeah.
Yeah, but like hell, but I did it.
How did you find Akira? How was she to work with?
Oh, she was great.
Yeah. Did she speak English?
Very little.
Yeah, but just enough.
Yeah, very little.
I'm sure you were calling that match, I would assume.
Well, the best I could.
Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah.
she didn't understand a lot of English.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But good workers, they know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
You can work around that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know that it ended up into 2000 where you retired. Talk about your last match with us, if you don't mind.
My last match was with Sherri, and it was in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was, of course, me and Sherri, thumbtacks, glass, nails.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a hardcore match.
Wow.
And that's our match, was the last match up in Baltimore.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sherri did that shit, and so did I.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know going into it that it was going to be your last match?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, who better to do it with than Sherri, right? Especially how much you cared about her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish that I could get in touch with some of her family.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if anybody has any contacts out there, get with Debbie. She'll. Yeah. Well, I do want to kind of lead into some other questions here. So the one question I want to talk about and was kind of one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about today was the current state of women's wrestling. I guess I would love to hear your thoughts on the current status of women's wrestling. What are your thoughts on it right now?
Well, I mean, I don't really, I wish it would kind of go back to some of the old style.
Okay.
Some of these women, I mean, they could not go 30 minutes.
Right. Right.
Much less 60.
Right.
And I don't know if they know Holt.
Right. You can tell. Yeah.
They only know flying.
Right.
And that is not wrestling.
Right. Right.
The old style, but I mean, they're very athletic and they're very high flying, and you've got to give them props. And they're very good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they brought girl wrestling, up. But you've got to give it to the older generation that we paved the way.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
And the only thing that I've got to say this, that WWE, WWF, whatever, I do not think that they give the older girls, Lalani, Malaya Hosaka, well, I don't know, Penny, any of the other girls that the Cena Montagas, any of the girls that work for WWE, WWF, credit and put them in the Hall of Fame up there.
Yeah.
That they deserve to be put in there too, not just the newer girls or the girls that we all deserve to be put in there too. We paved the way.
Amen. Yeah. They need to go back to what you were talking about on your Mount Rushmore. Start there and start putting in the legends, like you said, the golden era of women's wrestling, and I mean the Trishas and the Litas and all that, they're great and talented girls, but at the same time you can't forget where those girls came from,
Exactly. And it wouldn't hurt to have the golden era.
Right.
It wouldn't hurt to have the older girls in there, and plus, put, look how many men they put in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they could put the golden era in there of the women, and then they could put their little newer women in there.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's years that go by that, like I think the Midnight Express need to be in there, and you actually still have Dennis and Stan. You can put them in there and as a tribute to Bobby and bring Jim in, but there's so many things every year that they miss. I mean, I think they call it a legacy hall where they throw in some of the older, the legends, the like you were talking about, the golden era. But, when it comes down to it, to really have a legitimate Hall of Fame and to really have that be something special, you should go back and put those original folks, the pioneers in,
Right. They have a division up there that they induct the dead. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember.
Legacy. I think it's called Legacy Hall, I think.
But they inducted my mother, and they didn't even contact me.
Really?
No, they didn't even contact me or even invite me.
Wow. Holy cow.
That was in New Orleans.
Yeah, okay. That's been a while. Yeah. Wow.
And they could have at least acknowledged or notified me that they were going to induct her, or even invited me.
Right. Yeah. No kidding.
I mean, they never did nothing to them.
Yeah, they miss a lot, but that's huge. I can't believe that. That's crazy. I don't even know what to say to that, Debbie. Honestly.
I mean, I've never done nothing to Vince. I mean, I don't know. And that's when he had it.
Right. Yeah.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, the vibes are slipping. I think it's time to bring out the Velveeta shells and cheese. The holidays are a time to go all in on indulgence. Headline your meals with the rich, creamy meltiness of Velveeta shells and cheese and satisfy your holiday cravings like no other. Bring that main course energy to your side dish. Celebrate extra with Velveeta these holidays.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Listen up, you bunch of slack-jawed flea market freeloaders. If you think you know Memphis wrestling, you don't know nothing till you've heard the Retro Wrestling Review podcast, brother. Every week they're talking the real stuff. Lawler, Jarrett, PG-13, yeah, and even my Moondogs. Watch along, stories from the road, interviews with folks who were in the thick of it, brother. The blood, the beer, and the bail money. It's all on the Wrestlecopia Podcast Network. Go to uswapodcast.com or I'll come down there and I'll slap a taste out of your mouth.
Moondogs are howling, the Moondogs are howling, the Moondogs are vicious and mean. Tonight the Moondogs are looking for trouble, and you can hear it in their scream. So stay out of the swamp, 'cause the full moon is shining big and bright, and you might run into a Moondog and meet your biggest fight.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jimmy Street, and that was episode 19 of the Best of James Rock Street Productions, with the first half of episode 60 of Debbie Combs on Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling. Debbie was very sweet to come on and tell her story in her first podcast interview ever. I hope y'all enjoyed hearing from the second generation superstar as much as I did. You can hear the full episode and more over on @GMBMPW or Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling wherever you listen to podcasts, or simply click the link in the notes below. We hope you've enjoyed a look back in the archives of James Rock Street Productions. Check us out next week to see what else we have in store. Until then, follow @GMBMPW and @JamesRockStreet everywhere. Peace.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
This has been a James Rock Street production.